I think the Lions got the closest thing to a sure thing in Aidan Hutchinson. Since the year 2000, 22 players have been selected with the number 2 overall pick. Of those 22 players, you notice any safeties in there? I didn't. Maybe my 1 second, guys. If you don't need a quarterback, that's the position you take. And the Lions did it. I don't need 20 sacks a year. Hell, I don't need 15. You know what I need? I need 8 to 13 consistently. That's what I need. If history repeats itself, Aidan Hutchinson will win Defensive Player of the Year. Not bad if you ask me, huh? Since the year 2000, we have now had officially 22 draft picks at number 2 overall. And what I'd like to discuss with all of you this morning is I will tell you why I believe Aidan Hutchinson is destined for greatness. And a lot of it relies on history. So, since the year 2000, like I said, 22 players have been selected with the number 2 overall pick. Of those 22 players, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 now have been defensive linemen. Who are those defensive linemen? Julius Peppers, Chris Long, Ndamukong Suh, Nick Bosa, Chase Young, and now Aidan Hutchinson. Now, if you ask me, if there was ever a barometer of how successful a player will be, look at where they were taken, what their position is, and look at players also taken at that position and how they turned up. Now, Julius Peppers, Hall of Famer. Will be a Hall of Famer, I should say. Julius Peppers will and should be a Hall of Fame player. Chris Long, a very good career, a good player, very good at times. I wouldn't say a Hall of Fame player, but not a disappointing career. He had a good career. And Ndamukong Suh, very good, dominant early on. If you guys all remember, All-Pro his first year with the Detroit Lions. We move up recently, Nick Bosa. Everybody knows Nick Bosa in San Francisco. Chase Young with Washington. 2 very good players, very talented. And then you have Aidan Hutchinson obviously coming out. And I think Aidan Hutchinson, more than any player the Lions have drafted recently, is as close to this guy's going to work out. Not because of the story, not because of all the intangibles, the work ethic, the character. He's going to work out because that's what you do when you're picking number 2 overall. If you don't need a quarterback, that's the position you take. And the Lions did it. And in the last 22 years, all the teams that have addressed the defensive line position have all been very happy with their decisions. Julius Peppers, Chris Long, Ndamukong Suh, Nick Bosa, Chase Young, and now Aidan Hutchinson. Now add them up. That doesn't mean he's going to work out in the league. Yes, I'm very aware of that. But history tends to always repeat itself. And it tells a very unique story. And if I were to tell you that Aidan Hutchinson had the career of, let's say, one of those individuals, we'll use Chris Long as an example. If you guys remember, before the draft, I told you I believed Aidan Hutchinson was a minimum 70 career sack player. Minimum. Chris Long? How many career sacks? Anybody want to take a guess? Career sacks. All of you have an open mic. Chris Long, no? 70. 70 career sacks. So if Aidan Hutchinson's floor is the quote-unquote worst guy selected at number 2 overall in the last 22 years on the defensive line position, you walk away pretty happy with that. You're walking away pretty damn happy with that. That is consistent production over a 10, 12, 14-year career. Depends how long he plays in the NFL. Now, do I expect him to be Aaron Donald, Reggie White, TJ Watt? No. That's not the conversation. Will he produce in the NFL? My money would be on Aidan Hutchinson to produce in the NFL. Yes. And I think he was the surest bet to get production, short-term and long-term, out of a majority of the players coming out this year. I think the Detroit Lions are in a really, really good spot. NFL Draft Junkie says the NFL Network compared Aidan to Jared Allen. Jared Allen is an interesting player. What? They're both 6'6", correct? roughly about the same weight, similar engines. What I would say is Jared Allen. If you want to say Aidan Hutchinson can be or is Jared Allen, what I would say is I expect 20 sacks in the first 2 years because that's what Jared Allen gave me. And then when you reach the apex and the beginning of your career, your prime, you get me 15 and a half, 14 and a half, 14 and a half, 11, 22, and 12. That's what you get me. For a 6-7 year stretch, that's what you get me. And that's what we're talking about. With Julius Peppers, I can look him up and give you the same stat line. Julius Peppers, another player taken number 2 overall. Julius Peppers, a guy with 160 career sacks. Adam, Julius Peppers, what did he do his first 2 years? 19 sacks. And then year 3, 4, and 5, 11, 11, and 13. And then he got injured. Or actually, he didn't get injured in 2007. He just had a really bad year. And then it was 14 sacks, 10 and a half sacks, 8 sacks, 11, 11 and a half. I don't need 20 sacks a year. This is one of the common flaws with evaluating defensive ends. I don't need 20 sacks a year. Hell, I don't need 15. You know what I need? I need 8 to 13 consistently, year in and year out. And I need a ton of quarterback pressures. And I need a ton of quarterback hits. That's what I need. I don't need 22 and a half, 23 sacks, defensive player of the years. Cool. Would love it. Awesome. Definitely great. If you're that great, love it. Not a must. Julius Peppers, Hall of Fame player? I think so. 160 career sacks. Yeah, I'll take that. Oh, Chris Long? Aidan Hutchinson's floor is Chris Long, let's say. Cool. 70 career sacks. 12 seasons. 5.5, 6 sacks a year. Yeah, I'll take that. I'll take that. It's not ideal. I wouldn't be thrilled with only 70, but he wasn't a bust. He played in the NFL at a high level for a long time. It wasn't elite, but it was above average. That's what you're looking for. I think the Lions got the closest thing to a sure thing in Aidan Hutchinson. And it's not about, again, the motor, the character, the intangibles, whatever you want to label it. What we're discussing this morning with Aidan Hutchinson is I'm going to look at his position. Who has been taken at his position, or damn near it, at number 2 overall in the last 20 years, 22 years. Peppers, Chris Long, Bosa, Chase Young, and Ndamukong Suh. Yeah, the teams that take that position at that pick are that happy, by the way. Very happy. The Lions shouldn't regret taking Suh. Hell of a pick. It didn't work out for obvious reasons. But he was all-pro year 1. Don't forget that. Chris Long, was he Julius Peppers? Was he TJ Watt even to that apex level? Was he Aaron Donald? No, it's not ideal that the number 2 overall pick isn't a 100 career sack guy. But Chris Long was effective in the NFL. And he was a good player. Again. And do you want Aidan Hutchinson only to be good? No, you want him to be very good. You want him to be special. That's why you take him number 2 overall. But this is why we had this whole concept, this whole train of ideas and thoughts for months and months leading up to the draft of why you don't draft a quarterback, Malik Willis, at number 2 overall. Why you don't take Kyle Hamilton number 2 overall. Why is because if I go, for example, over the last 22 years, and I look at players taken not at the defensive end position. All right. Well, since the year 2000, I have Leonard Davis, who's a guard, 3-time Pro Bowler. Charles Rogers, I'm sure you all remember. That didn't work out. Offensive tackle Robert Gallery, okay. Reggie Bush, Ronnie Brown, okay. Calvin Johnson, here we go. That's your first Hall of Famer. Jason Smith, offensive tackle, okay. Nothing special. How could I forget, by the way, Von Miller, labeled as a linebacker, but a pass rusher. Robert Griffin III, quarterback, didn't work out. Marcus Mariota didn't work out. Mitch Trubisky didn't work out. Saquon Barkley didn't work out. Greg Robinson, meh. Luke Jokel, okay. Zach Wilson, way too early to tell. You notice any safeties in there? I didn't. Maybe my. 1 second, guys. I didn't see any safeties or secondary players. Any middle linebackers? No? Huh. Oh. Oh, the teams that took running backs are disappointed with who they took? Ronnie Brown, Reggie Bush, Saquon Barkley? Oh, you're disappointed? Oh, the teams that took a quarterback? All disappointed? Oh. Really? Whoops. Oh, the teams that took offensive tackles? Hit or miss 50% of the time? Okay. Huh. Very interesting. Oh, the last 2 defensive ends taken? And number 2 overall? Both won Defensive Player of the Year? Huh. See where I'm going with this? To show you got a good player. If history repeats itself, Aidan Hutchinson will win Defensive Player of the Year. If history repeats itself, his floor is 70 career sacks. His ceiling is upwards of damn near 170. Not bad if you ask me, huh? We spent months on this. Months building up to the draft. Why you take a defensive end. That's why. That's why. Not because other players aren't good players. Not because they, again, don't have value. Kyle Hamilton at number 2, huh? That was the hill. That was where we were planting our flags. Oh, Malik Willis, right? The guy that fell to 86? Number 2 overall, yeah. Okay. You guys really... Yeah, and you know what's funny? It's we broke down the film, Adam. Yeah, you notice I'll never tell you, hey, I'm breaking down film. I'll never use that as my reason. Ever. That's such a weak answer. I'll tell you why. The film doesn't say everything. And even if the film tells you everything you want to... The film will tell you and show you what you want to see. And if you're really good, you'd have a job in the NFL. Because I'm not paying you in the NFL to find things on film that I want to see. I want you to show me on film the things I don't want to see. The things that aren't good. Because that's how you get better. That's how you identify potential. Number 2 overall. Quarterback that fell to 66 and a safety that went middle of the first round. What are we doing here, man? What are we doing here? I tried saving people from this. And I'm glad the Lions, obviously with Brad Holmes, know what they're doing right now.
You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink.
Is that the saying?
Yeah.
I've never heard of that.
Or just don't be a bitch.
God.